Hey everyone, my name is Dante and welcome back to Story Hub, your hub for the best stories on Reddit. My mother-in-law was guilty in the death of her grandchild, my daughter. She was 2 years old at the time and my husband and I let mother-in-law babysit her while we were busy with job-related things. It was summertime and they were staying in mother-in-law's house that has a pond next to it. My daughter loved water. Bath time was her favorite time of day. They were playing at the edge of the pond and then mother-in-law remembered she had to take clothes out of the dryer and she left a 2-year-old alone next to the quite large body of water. My daughter's childlike curiosity plus her love for water resulted in her getting into the deep part of the pond and drowning. All because mother-in-law considered clothes in the dryer an important enough reason to leave a toddler unsupervised. Then she realized what had happened. She started to panic and called for help. Her neighbor heard her. They got into the pond and called an ambulance, but it was too late. Imagine what it's like for a parent to come to the person you trusted your child with and they tell you your child is dead. And mother-in-law was begging us not to involve the police in this. She kept repeating it was an accident and she doesn't know how it could have happened. Was only gone for a moment. Feels even worse than we do and calling the police won't bring her back. We did call the police, of course, and she was charged with criminal negligence and sentenced to 3 years in prison which, in my opinion, was too light of a punishment. Recently mother-in-law was released from prison and my husband was the first person she looked for contact with. He never once visited mother-in-law while she was imprisoned. Unintentionally, but she did cause the death of our child by neglecting her duties as a babysitter. Doesn't matter that she served her sentence. Neither I nor my husband will ever forgive her for this. Neither has she asked for forgiveness. All she gave us were excuses and more excuses. In the courtroom, my husband told her she's not his mother anymore, that she's dead to him and that he never wants to see her face again. Our marriage was damaged too. We were depressed, we fought a lot, there were times when we were on the brink of divorce. We separated for a while. I left for another country thinking that this is it for us. However, my husband came to look for me and we managed to save our family and continue our life together. I couldn't bring myself to have any more children for a long time, but eventually, I got pregnant again and last summer we welcomed our son. He's 9 months old now. Obviously, we weren't going to tell mother-in-law we're parents again, but she saw us walking with a baby stroller and realized that once more she has a grandchild. So she tried to get in contact with my husband. First, she reproached him for not visiting her, cried about how hard it was for her to spend all those years behind bars, that she shouldn't have been in the prison because she's too old for that. How could he do this to his own mother? How could he abandon her? Then she was like, but I saw you have a new baby. I'm so glad I have a grandchild again. And then she went on about whether it is a boy or a girl. When will she be able to see them and meet them because she wants to take care of them so much. My husband told her immediately that she doesn't have anything. This is our child, ours only. Our son doesn't have a grandmother. We'll be telling him this as he grows up. And he will never ever in a million years be anywhere around her. We're 100% on the same page about this. The loss of our daughter still hurts and we're going to do the impossible to protect our son from her. He doesn't need an irresponsible grandmother who would likely endanger his life just like she did with his sister. Mother-in-law was shocked to hear this and began to wail about us being so evil and cruel towards her, that we're going to hold that against her forever even though she paid for it and we cannot be so heartless to prevent her from seeing her grandchild. But what was she thinking? What was she hoping for? That we're really going to let her around our baby? That we'll ever trust her with babysitting again? Honestly, I'm not sure if I can leave my son with any babysitter. I don't trust babysitters anymore, because if a grandmother can be careless enough to let a child die, who knows what could an unrelated person do? So my husband told her firmly that she'll have no access to the baby and he doesn't want to talk to her either, so now that she's out of the prison, she should do something useful with her life and leave us alone. Mother-in-law wasn't having it. That evening she came to our house asking to see her grandchild again. We didn't let her come in, obviously, and mother-in-law got mad, claiming that as a grandmother, she has rights to meet her grandchild. We told her that she lost all her rights to our children when she let our daughter drown. If a trust is broken, it cannot be repaired and there are some things that just cannot be forgiven. Mother-in-law then told us that she'll go to court and she'll demand legal permission to meet the baby. I'm not sure if there is such a thing, but if it's true, I highly doubt she'll get it considering her criminal record. If we need to go to court and prove she's not the type of grandmother you should let around your child, we'll do it. If she comes back again, we'll call the police. If we need to leave this country and go live somewhere else just to be away from her, we'll do it too. Nothing's impossible. I'm amazed at the shamelessness of hers. She knows very well she tore apart our lives 3 years ago. No parent should bury their child, but we had to because of her, and now she comes to us as if she's the best relative ever, as if nothing ever happened. Now for the next story. I, male 23, was dating my ex, female 23, up until a month ago. We were together for 4 years before that. So before we broke up she was acting distant for a good month, then as of last month sat me down and asked for an open relationship. The minute those words came out of her mouth I broke up with her. I came into this relationship expecting a monogamous relationship, and now she wanted to change the relationship. I only want to be with one person. If we couldn't agree on that, saw no future. With the way she was acting before this, I can't trust her, and even if she wasn't acting shady I wouldn't be able to trust her anyway for suggesting it. Those are some of the reasons I decided to break up with her in that moment, even though it might seem harsh. IMO, if someone wants a relationship like that, the relationship should start like that for it to be healthy, not just dumped on your partner after years of monogamy. Now I've been getting texts and voicemails from her crying to take her back and that she didn't mean it. I'm not sure what to think. Some people have been telling me that I acted too rash and didn't even give us time to work it out, and that it was cruel of me to do that. Is this something I acted too quick with or not? Update. After posting and expressing to some people that I had a suspicion she cheated on me, I couldn't get the nagging feeling out of my head. I didn't want to know at first, but decided to go digging and ask mutual friends what my ex had been up to that month. She was acting shady. I didn't expect one of her closest friends to spill the beans, but she did. My suspicions were correct. She had been cheating on me with a mutual friend's cousin. I decided to message the guy on FB. Really quick, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to drop a like. When I messaged him, he wanted to meet in person, so I met him at a local pub. When I got there, he apologized and explained everything. How he didn't know she was in a relationship, and that the day she called me wanting me back is the day he found out and broke it off. I can't fault the guy. He seemed genuine and really apologetic. On the plus side, I drank for free the entire time. He seems like a great guy, especially considering how he broke it off right away once he knew. I won't lie, he's a handsome and great guy, and I would let him frick me to rub it in my ex's face, lol. But at least I have a bit of closure now. I've blocked my ex on everything, and I'm gathering her stuff she's left here to mail to her so she doesn't come knocking. It's taking a lot of power not to leave a note in the box along the lines of "Mark seems nice, too bad you lost him too." Sorry if some of this makes no sense. I'm typing this on phone and my fat thumbs are doing me no favors. It also doesn't help, I'm a bit tipsy, but I'm glad I could vent and get advice from you beautiful fuckers of Reddit. Not the idiot. It's always good to see people with a backbone. I also like the fact that the guy she was cheating with now knows and you helped him dodge a bullet. You guys are both kings. NTA. Yeah, when a partner asks you to open the relationship, they're either already cheating with someone else or they want to, and they're trying to alleviate the guilt. Plus, they're keeping you on hand as a backup in case the affair doesn't work. Now for the next story. My husband, 31, and I, 34, and our littles, female 6 and 3 meters, live temporarily with my mother-in-law and SFIL. We gave up our apartment and moved in to help them both physically and financially, since they are both on disability. And at the time, mother-in-law was so sick that she couldn't take care of SFIL after his spinal surgery on her own. Hubby and I are both working and saving to move out since they are better health-wise. Mother-in-law has started once again, making passive-aggressive comments or doing things that make it obvious she's ready for us to move. A few days ago, my brother-in-law came over and he and hubby left to run to the store. Right after they left, I went to my room for something. They had been gone all of 3 minutes when I heard mother-in-law loudly tell SFIL that this house is a wreck. I just cleaned it yesterday and I'm not doing it again. This should have been done last night. At that point, there were a dozen or so dishes to be washed, 6 seconds puzzle and a few other things on the kitchen table, and maybe a handful of toys scattered across the living room. And since DH and brother-in-law walked through the house in shoes, the floor needed to be swept. I decided to wait till DH got home to do anything and instead played with the kids in their room. When the guys got home and brother-in-law left, I told DH what happened and asked if he'd help me pick up. Kids picked up their toys, I did dishes, and DH picked up the table and swept the floors. As soon as he got the mop out, mother-in-law said, "Oh, you don't need to do that. I've already mopped this week." DH, but that's not what you taught us as kids. It all has to be done daily. She didn't say much after that. Friday evening when we got home from work, mother-in-law was getting ready to leave for the night to brother-in-law's. She made it a point to wait till DH was showering, to tell me she cleaned the house and would be back tomorrow. After she left, I noticed she had taken my 4 small stacked planter pots off the extra freezer and put them on the floor by our bedroom door. This is where she puts things that belong to us, that she doesn't want out in the living room, dining room area anymore, because apparently having them up there with her 3 plants wasn't acceptable. She's slowly but surely pushing us entirely into the 2 bedrooms the 4 of us occupy at the opposite end of the house from her. Like we can only exist in those 3 rooms. We have a full bath, they have the master bed, bath. It's obvious she doesn't want us here, any more than we want to still be here. But she won't actually say it in those words. Ugh, I can't wait till we have enough money saved to leave. Not the idiot. Like you, I prefer straight talking, but I can understand why mother-in-law is finding this an awkward conversation to have. She knows you can't afford to move out yet, and she knows you moved in to help her out. In the circumstances, I can understand why she feels she can't just tell you she doesn't want you here anymore. Which isn't to say I approve of her passive-aggressive tactics, but it's probably her frustrations at not being able to speak up getting the best of her. Not the idiot. It sounds like DH believes you and trusts you, but I wonder if it would be easier for you to tell mother-in-law, "Hold on. There, now my phone is recording. Go on. I want to make sure what I tell DH is accurate so there is no misunderstandings. When she starts up with you, that way, she won't lash out on you but only say things she is willing to say to both of you." Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe.